Get to wake up to that every morning.
Is it not working
again?
No, it's working.
Oh, we're on. Hi, everybody. We're on.
Yep.
Andy's working through some technical stuff, so.
No, I'm actually. Go ahead.
All right, we're good.
Anyway, welcome to episode 4 of Lost Aspect. It is 4, isn't it?
Episode Amanda's birthday.
I think it's
officially
also
4.
Yeah, episode Amanda's birthday. Happy birthday! Yay.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourself, birthday girl?
Oh, no. Casey has to. No, I'm Amanda. Yay,
it's your birthday.
My birthday.
She's all of like 12 today.
Yes, I'm 12. What is this? Yeah, basically, I think that's right. We'll go with 12. Brian likes to let me know that I'm only turning 22. That's also acceptable. Age is irrelevant.
Age is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody already said
you
hello.
play Signar.
I do play Signar, but I think everyone knows that by now.
Well,
if you're just tuning in, you've missed 3 wonderful episodes before this. I play Signar now.
Yep. Congratulations. Yep.
I'm Casey, and I play Legion still, and I'm mostly happy with it. Next.
I'm Danielle. I play Minions.
I'm Celeste, and I play Circle. And this is
It's no one
episode
else's
4.
birthday.
Yeah, it's
No one else's birthday.
I feel very old, though. We were talking before about everybody's various ages, and I was like, wow, I feel old. And then Andy was like, yeah, except for I'm way older. And then I felt better about myself.
We could specifically explain. Today is 9/11. We were talking about where were you?
Where
when
were
it happened.
you? They're all like, I was in elementary school playing kickball with my
middle
friends on the
school.
playground. And I was like,
Middle school.
Yeah, middle school. Thank you.
I was
wasn't in
taking
actual
I was
class.
taking a military aptitude test as a grown fucking adult. So like, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
have announcements?
So, announcements.
Announcements.
Yes.
Next weekend, so because this is still part of the weekend, so it'd be next weekend, Saturday, the 17th, is a 75-point steamroller event at Game Town in Waukesha. Don't ask me what time it starts. I probably should know that information, but I don't. I'm going to assume probably dice roll between 10 and 11, but look it up on the forum.
The 24th is the crippled system.
75-point
Glad you
steamroller.
know that because I have no clue.
Yeah.
Yep. Another 75-point
Yep.
steamroller at Misty Mountain.
Yep.
On the 24th.
Yeah, look
Again,
it up online.
Look it up online. I don't know the dice roll times. And then I can never remember the day in October. It's like the second weekend in October. There's a 100-point steamroller
In
at
Chicago?
Pegasus. No, at Pegasus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good. 100 points sounds good.
That's a lot of points.
It's going to be fun for sure. When I think about adding another 25 points into my list, I'm like,
I don't even know if I have enough minions to do that.
oh, you can make it work.
I'm sure I could.
Borrow some from people or
Yeah.
something if you need to.
I have enough too, but I can't proxy that in tournaments, so it's like
That's-
shit.
yeah.
I need to put stuff together.
Barely have my 75 and 75, so
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Aaron got all my brigands done. Thank you, Aaron. But so now I'm not proxying little frogs that make me mad.
Yay.
It looks very nice though.
I'm waiting for some stuff. Brian and I don't know how he does it, but he finds trades. One event he had gotten Iron Arena, traded in all of his points for Alien vs. Predator, and someone's like, here, I'll give you all of these Signar models for those models. So,
That
works.
yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic. So are you going to go back to Convergence at some point, or are you pretty much done for now? Don't ask me that question.
Eventually. No, I will. I mean, they're my main, which is weird because they are very...
A Tinkerer is
yes.
coming.
Jim is gifting me a Goblin Tinkerer because they are elusive and hard to find, and he's
Awesome.
a wonderful person. But Convergence will probably happen again. I still follow the Facebook. I still have all of my models.
Okay, cool.
They have a place in my heart.
I
and
know
that's
you
about
were
it.
feeling sort of done, so it makes sense to switch for a little while.
I think that's the standard, and I want to bring that up when we talk about some stuff later. But I feel like people who mained Cyrus.
Okay, so that's me. So Brian must be logged in as me right now, I'm guessing.
Well, possibly Brian. Thank you.
Otherwise, someone has officially hacked into my shit. I'm going to assume it's Brian.
Probably.
But yeah, a lot of people who mained Convergence are really disenfranchised right now.
Yeah.
You might need to go home and
No, he
Call
can,
your debit
he can
card
log
company.
the fuck out and log back into his own. It's got to be him. All right, sorry. Continue.
No, that's really all I had to say.
All right,
So what's on our agenda?
Danielle,
I have
costume.
quick. In order to keep me on task for the things that I'm doing, I decided every other week when I come on here, I'm gonna say what I'm working on.
Good.
Otherwise, it's never gonna get done.
Do it.
So I need everybody.
Should I be like calling you? What are you working on tonight, Danielle? Like creepily into the phone.
Well, I might need that. Or some motivation from people because, like, Friday I was working on my stuff because we went to Sheboygan, and Lord of the Rings was on TV, and I'm like, shit. So I got my pattern cut out. That's my update. I do have another update, though. So we were talking about making, like, when we go to cons and things like that, making, like, a little cuterous pin or something for us. So I made a little prototype. It's not done. I just did this real quick.
I love it.
So I was going to do a little thing and then make this a little firmer
Cute.
and then give him eyeballs and a little happy face.
I love it. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait.
I'm pretty sure we need googly eyes.
Oh my god,
Cuterous, and it's just perfect.
So I'm going to put that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Googly eyes are the best.
And I have news. So one of my super best friends, who's also going to be a bridesmaid in my wedding, does a job. She runs a company called Sugar Tree Press, and they do custom invitations and like party favors and stuff. And she's branching out now into several other things, including like vinyl, like car decals, and like, you know, she can like personalize like water bottles and t-shirts and stuff like that. So now we have a cool new vendor for if we want to make like
Cool.
Lost Aspect t-shirts or like things like that as well. We can get some cuterous t-shirts or
I
something.
like it.
So yeah,
A booze bottle.
yeah, we can
Yes.
get
Yeah.
bottles. And,
as long as they're not see-through, you
Koozies.
can put whatever you want in there and just
Yeah.
pretend it's water.
yeah. whatever.
Or they
But, yeah,
I was
just
going to say
pour
make them
my-
green. That's Mountain Dew.
like we did,
Yes.
where I had very cloudy Mountain Dew because it was actually Mike's Hard Lemonade. I can understand the paranoia. Someone stole my rent check. Oh, no,
Yeah,
Stinks.
that's some
that's terrible.
So, someone in the Twitch chat just said, I can understand the paranoia, referring to Brian having logged into Celeste's Twitch. Someone had stole their rent check this week. And that
Yikes.
is some shit.
That's some shit
Yeah.
for sure. That's bad. I don't think that is ever. I mean, I've had stuff stolen from me, but I don't know that I've ever had like an entire week's worth of pay. I don't know what I would do.
I'm
Cry.
really
I'd
anal
cry.
about when I write my rent check, I take it to the post office. I don't put it in my mailbox because of reasons like that.
Yeah.
But I am also like a scared small child.
Thank you for switching, Brian. I appreciate that you switched over to. Although now your color is very
That's
bright and
gross.
obnoxious.
Speaking of the stolen rent check, now you're making me paranoid about the like information I sent for the tollway to Illinois because I got that bill this week.
What?
Did you forget to pay your tolls?
On day 8.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh crap!
had that happen
I just
too.
remembered we didn't do that.
You'll
Brian.
get a bill in a couple
Well,
months.
I have an Ipass, so they
Oh.
should just be able to charge it to the Ipass that I forgot to put in my car. I've had to deal with them before though, and it is a fucking pain in the ass.
They're like it's like $20 extra.
It's
per toll, isn't it?
ridiculous.
$20
Oh my God.
per toll. we
Plus
missed
what you
6.
already owed.
That's freaking ridiculous.
That happened when Brian drove me to the airport because I prefer to fly out of O'Hare.
Weirdo.
I really do prefer to fly out of O'Hare. And
She's
everyone's
just
like,
weird.
the fuck is wrong
yeah,
with you?
weird.
I've flown out of O'Hare so many times, and I know the airport
You know
really
it.
well. Which is why when I go to Milwaukee, I'm like, I have no idea what am I doing here in Madison. I don't want to pay the extra money to fly out of there. But he forgot to pay the tolls when he had driven me to the airport and drove home, and that's like, I think it's almost 8. Like you hit the couple on the way in, and that we got that bill in the mail. It was like 100 and some, almost
Ouch.
$200.
Yep.
So don't forget to pay your tolls.
Yeah. We're going to get an Ipass. But anyway, back to
Ipasses
Danielle.
are absolutely worth it.
How is your costume going?
Just the pattern. I got cut
Just the
out.
pattern?
Yeah.
Which one are you working on again?
Oh, damn it. I should have brought the pattern. I'm working on Scar.
Okay.
So I'm making the coat for her, and the coat's actually pretty long. I got some. I don't know if you guys know who Yaya Han is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has.
Yeah.
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 She has fabric at Joann's, and I had gotten a coupon for like 60% off or something like that.
Nice.
So I found some purple fabric that's kind of shimmery, kind of leathery. So I'm doing that. But it's really cool because the pattern I found, I have to alter it a little bit because it's a coat and it comes together, but then the front is kind of open weird down below. But it's like 4 different panels, so it will be billowy too.
Cool.
So I'm excited. It's a lot of fabric, but I'm
It's
excited.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be good.
So
I'm excited.
I will next time. I plan to actually have it cut out and maybe roughly sewn together so that you guys can see the shape.
Yay.
Fantastic.
So
And did you buy your corset?
I did not, because my dog had like this weird eye thing going on. Like he got poked really bad, and then of course I googled it and it's like eye irritation. It could be a disease, and it's like fuck.
Yeah.
To take him to
So
the vet.
so I didn't take him to the vet yet. I went on Thursday to the local vet and made an appointment. Showed him a picture and they're like, yeah, it's probably cherry eye. That's like great. Yeah,
Cherry eye requires surgery, doesn't it?
yeah, a lot of people fix it with surgery. It's like fuck.
It's
Okay.
an expensive surgery.
Today's the last day I can get that corset. That's $60. It's like, but now he has to go to the vet.
that sucks.
So I scheduled it for Tuesday. Fun fact, his eye looks perfectly fucking fine now. After the sale ends.
Right, of course. It was just a...
It's $60 in your pocket, though.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
And you can, sales like that will come around again.
Yeah.
probably.
Plus there were like 16 in my size, so maybe there'll still be some left when they come back to Gen Con.
Yeah. That would be nice.
I always get flustered when I'm looking on their website because it's not the size that I have the issue with, it's the cut.
Okay, you want the hourglass.
They sell them
Is that
Oh, that's Johnny.
is that John? He's gonna spend that 60.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's probably already spent. He's probably online right now spending it.
Pretty sure we spent that on booze the other night.
I'm saving up my money for the Storm Raptor. I just want to
yeah.
take a little quick moment to say that I jizzed when the picture finally came.
Did you see the picture of the sprues, though?
No.
It's very nice looking plastic. It is very nice looking plastic. You will be pleased.
I am very. When you say I don't know what sprues means. Is that the plastic
Yeah.
square sheet?
Yeah.
I did see one of those with a wing on it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's language I don't understand.
So-
but yes, I'm very excited about it.
That means it's actually closer than the Hydra, where it might actually come out soon.
The Hydra shouldn't be
Ish.
too far behind. It was a
Honestly.
production issue with the change in plastic.
Yeah, if they have sprue images, it's gonna be out soon.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I am excited. I already started. I went online and Google imaged falcons, peregrine falcons or whatever they're called, and saved several different images to start developing my paint scheme. I'm super pumped about it. I had originally planned to do it watercolor, bright colored wings to match my phoenix that I have in my arm, and then I saw the image of it and I was like, I can't fuck with it. I have to do an actual paint job. So now I'm excited about that, and I'm gonna save up my
If
super chicken
yeah.
doom turkey.
Yeah.
It's possible that they would have it at War Machine Weekend, but that's really
Maybe.
pushing
That's
it.
really pushing it.
Yeah.
I would die if they had it at War Machine
War
Weekend.
Machine
Yeah.
Weekend is 2 months from now.
I mean, that's
True.
fair.
Yeah,
So,
it could.
I mean, you might just have
Oh,
to.
I just got really excited.
if you're not going, you might have to sweet talk Danielle.
No,
You
she's
know?
going.
I'm going.
Oh, you are going.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going. We have our rooms already set. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes me really, really excited.
Yeah.
Even though it's it's 37 points of sheer nothing, I'm still gonna get it and paint it and have it ready. I'm hoping that Una Dos will make it worth it in the long run, and it won't be a completely useless 37-point model. But
At least it's beautiful.
yeah, that's. I don't even fucking care. I'm just
the
gonna.
problem with the gargantuans, though. The nicer they look, the more
The
trash
shitty
they
they
are.
are.
Sure they are. Yep. Yep.
Talking about the Archangel.
Yep.
Still waiting on the new troll stuff. Yeah, the Archangel really is garbage.
I mean, he. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why they're waiting on the neutral stuff, because they've got the Mountain King and the Glacier King.
Yeah.
And the
But
other
there's
one
that new one. What's
was-
it
Yeah,
called?
the
Like-
ship.
Yeah, the
Whoa.
Pirate
Yeah,
King.
that's so
I don't
cool.
think that's what it's called. It looks amazing, but trolls already have 2 gargantuans.
Yeah.
And we should get the rest of them out first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minions at some point is getting one. In that post that I linked you guys.
That's awesome.
He Jason Souls did say something about minions
that
in the works.
That whole fucking thread, I tried to read through it, and it was just, I was like, ugh. not even just the Skorne part, but like the whole thing. Like, I was reading through it, and I was like, people fucking blow.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I read the Skorne part specifically just so that I would not have no fucking clue what was going on. Do you want to talk about that now?
Sure. I guess, well, it kind of started, I didn't get to see the letter to
I'm not
Parenthood
on
press.
I didn't either.
The Facebook page which is where I think it originated. Brian had told me about it just off chance because Brian only ever talks about War Machine and Hordes. That's our life. It's really
I feel
great.
so much of that.
But he had just mentioned it. We were talking about WTC lists, and he had asked me if I had come across it, and I was like, no. But I guess there was. It must, and maybe I'm just like getting secondhand information mixed up. But a open letter to Privateer Press about fix Skorne because it's shit. Like there's really no other way to explain it. That's what they want. I mean, and I think we're all under the impression that Skorne is bottom of the barrel. I think it definitely is. When you rank everything, Skorne is definitely at the bottom. I don't think there's any other way to explain it. And Skorne is not competitive. I'm just like looking at this chat kind of go by, and I'm like waiting for someone to catch me and tell me I'm wrong. I don't play Skorne, so I don't know, but I hear a lot of people are just not pleased.
Everybody's salty.
Well, I think you have to keep a couple of things in mind. The fucking Facebook groups are full of like bottom of the barrel trash scum, every single one of them. So like everybody who's really, really, really butthurt in there, like you have to take that with a grain of salt, because every faction, those Facebook groups are full of people who
take
think
it with a
that
grain of salt. They're already salt.
Yeah, it's just shit. Brian and I do not hate Skorne. What I hate is that Brian was definitely one of the people, because he played Skorne and Khador, and pretty equally between the two of them. And when Mark III came out, he was definitely one of the people who got very sort of disheartened by the changes and losing the things that they that made them Skorne, and whatever. And then we were playing the other day, and I had Wormwood, and he had, don't even remember, don't care. Really don't fucking care. He had some ass fucking Skorne Warlock, and everything that so everyone in the Facebook forums is not bottom of I'm in those forums, so not everybody is bottom of the pond scum.
All of them have bottom of the barrel scum.
Yeah, all of them have. If person A is a barrel scum, person A is definitely in the Facebook group. That's my only point. Anyhow, it was Wormwood versus some dumbass Skorne Warlock. Xerxes won. And everything that I tried to do, and like Wormwood is the shit. Nope, this guy does this guy, and I literally, like, I because we've talked before about how it's not a good idea for me to play Brian when there's not people there to observe and keep things safe, because I yell at him and scream and swear at him and call him names. I was like, I can't even believe you with your fucking bullshit about how this is a terrible faction, because he had this list that was fucking baller, and I couldn't do anything against it. And he was like, yeah, I'm starting to realize as we play more that might have been a too quick of a generalization. Mm-hmm. Like, there might be more here than what we all, it's easy when you lose the things that you think are the most important things to get really disheartened and be like, oh, everything good is gone. But until, like, you start playing and you start seeing more, and then all of a sudden, like, Brian's sort of coming into this, at least from his perspective, where it's not really as bad as he was originally fearing it was going to be, at least for him. And I think, I don't know about Geezy, but Geezy plays it and seems to like it.
I don't think we've gotten an official opinion from him. Not one that I've heard of anyway.
Sure.
But he's not put it down.
He hasn't put it down.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that you have to take the whole thing with a sort of, with a grain of salt, just because people are always, And if you're the bottom, you're gonna be extra salty, and they are the bottom. Like, even if they have some competitive options, they're definitely towards the bottom of the list. So people at the bottom are gonna be saltier.
Yeah.
So the Reddit post that I had found was where Jason Souls did like an open ask me questions thing, and somebody had commented like, Skorne pretty much sucks, kind of what's your opinion or what's going to happen. And he was saying how they have a lot of challenges with Skorne because...
Which was so weird.
What do you
Sorry,
mean?
Continue.
Okay. Because, you know, they had them going as they were, but then, you know, as they try to develop them, they're trying to keep the fluff into consideration too. So that's kind of the problem. So, like, I think in Mark II, things were... or so as I seemed, you know, you either had like really big beast lists and you like ran Resheth beast herd, or you had lists like Zal and Xerxes Wine where you ran infantry bricks. Whereas now it's kind of you're running infantry and maybe some beasts, but you might be getting shot down too. Sorry.
So yeah, we have a lot of Twitch.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
lots of people.
They're just talking about the Xerxes list.
The Xerxes
Don't
list.
worry about it.
Okay.
It's irrelevant.
So, you know, I guess some of the things that were taken away, and I know the other thing too that I was going to say too is I know that people are pretty salty about the bronze bag being able to take down a heavy or a gargantuan, possibly, you know, and to try and balance that is hard. I can understand that, but you know, and it's different too because the things that were taken away, like being able to charge for free, or you know, being able to charge really easily, you know, it's a little bit harder to deal with that fury management. So I mean, trying to find the balance between that and making something too overpowered is fair, but even as somebody commented in the Reddit post too, like eventually, you know, regular samurai went into firearms or things so that they could shoot. They weren't all just melee eventually. So
Can I interject?
yeah.
Would you suggest that they had more playtesting?
You know, I don't, and that's the thing that he was kind of getting around to with that Reddit post was like the thing that he wanted most was more time. And I think that's fair. You know, there are some good merits about Skorne. Like, the Gladiator is fucking amazing. That was when I was playing it at WTC, I really loved that little guy. But the things that, you know, were lackluster were kind of like, oh, my bronze back's done. Now I'm going to die. So it's just not the same. And I'm not really sure what they need to do. Aaron and I were talking a bit how... You know, how they want to keep up with the...
Tell them to fuck off. I'm sorry.
What's that?
John just said who plays Overwatch on PS4. I want none of that PC Master Race trash in here. You're so slow.
I love how you're downstairs commenting on the Skorne world.
I don't want to interrupt you guys' thing, but my God, is that kid so slow?
It's not
Like moving in the lights. Like Joker, like it was just so.
Anyway.
So this is my question, and this is obviously clearly like me not understanding anything about anything, and I get that. When they were like, oh, well, you know, we have to keep it in tune with the fluff, I'm like, didn't you write the fluff? Couldn't you just write some new fluff that's like...
That's what Brian
and
Casey
then a bee was born. Here's a whole fucking unit of Skorne bees. Look what we did! Like, I mean, you're in charge of that shit,
That's
right?
what Brian Casey said. Why don't you guys change it? And it kind of drifted off there. But Aaron and I were talking about it, and we're like, if they want to keep with the melee thing, but they want to have the ancestry samurai stuff too, is why don't they make like more soul things, you know, like part of the faction? So like, out of theory, like maybe have like a unit that can spend some souls and maybe get like plus armor or weapon master, you know, just like different point costs for different things, and to have maybe the soul ward poop holder, you know, be able to like allocate souls to them. I don't know. It's just, I think that there's ways that they could do it without totally changing the army up. But, you know, I think that's the problem kind of Skorne has too, is that there's a lot of shooting going on right now, and being shot before you can get into melee is hard.
Tough. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to change topics here briefly because of this. No, I'm not, because we're going to talk about WTC lists later. I am like this huge supporter of when we get our tiers and our theme forces. I'm wondering if there's going to be a lot to Skorne to come when that happens.
Yeah.
I think so.
But I do agree there is far too much shooting this edition.
Yeah.
Coming from someone who ran a Sloan list the other night. Far too much shooting. It is.
It's purposely why I play Rask. I can turn it off for a turn and then get right in there. Big old fuck you to everybody that shoots.
I don't have. I mean, that's it. I see it definitely. Like my circle lists are not very heavy shooting, but you definitely see a lot more shooting happening.
Yeah.
Sean, pew pew this
About
this
that.
Yeah. Well, that
My
Very
War Spears
interesting.
got nerfed. That was like one
Yeah.
of my only shooting things.
You have Raptors.
I have Raptors. I haven't used them yet. I'm still playing with this Mark
I'm
III
just saying,
thing.
you've got. I
But-
mean,
Wait, what are those little bee or bubble
The
little
wasp
butterflies?
light-
they only
Yeah.
have.
The
They,
wasp.
they have melee, don't
Yeah,
they? They
I
don't
don't
think they
know.
have
Seriously?
ranged.
Oh.
They have a melee. I mean, they have cool melee, and they are definitely worth having. But
I'm very sour about my War Spears. I'm sorry, okay? I miss them.
Brian brings up the Blightbringer
And then
the
Ravagore.
yeah, I mean, you've got some shooting.
I just meant like units wise. There are a
You've got-
lot of just like
Yeah,
8
that's
people
true.
units that do shooting versus I have a couple of beasts.
Do you have
You
what are
have
the new
archers?
units? There are units that are being played more in Legion now. Are any of them shooty?
I haven't looked too much into it. I know, yes, we have archers. I
Yeah.
don't know the extent of what their stuff is because I haven't used them yet. But
Casey.
what? I'm being honest.
No, that's fine. I feel like Legion has one of the hardest. Like if you had been a pretty hardcore Legion player, now it's almost like learning a whole new thing
Yeah.
because you hadn't relied very heavily on units
Yeah.
before, and now like
Well, it's just
that's a
beasts.
major. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
literally
Or
almost exclusively beasts, and now
Lists,
it's
though, that were pretty unit heavy. I mean, like,
in Mark II.
Yeah. Not that I played a whole lot of Legion of Mark II, but there were lists that were pretty unit heavy. I think that you pretty much had your list set in stone, and you didn't branch out a whole lot from there.
No,
in
I
the first
didn't.
place. So there's stuff that I'm just remembering from Mark II that I'm just like, these things exist. I don't know if they're good or not.
My
like
Brian's
how
just being
people
an
just
asshole
keep
and
listing
listing all of
things.
the
Yeah.
all of the ranged options.
Thanks, guys. Where are you when I build my lists?
So did everybody look at WTC lists? I really haven't had
No.
a
I
chance to
looked
look
at
too
it
closely.
enough.
Did you?
I looked at it enough to say, back to the shooting. I, as a Convergence player, like, in my heart and soul, that was the first thing I looked at instead of all of the Signar stuff, was astounded to see that there were Convergence players there in the first place. And that, obviously, Iron Mother and Father Lucant were the top 2 drops. And then Axis and Aurora were also being played, which was just baffling to me. Not because I don't think they're good, but I think Axis lost a lot when we came over to Mark III, and Aurora Tech is just something that I don't think people have really figured out yet. No one is playing Syntherian.
Interesting.
Not a single person is playing Syntherian, and this goes back to forums or Facebook. I'm hitting the table now. Someone had also brought up that no one was playing Syntherian, and everyone's opinion was, if you're dropping mom or dad, Syntherian isn't a good pairing with them. And I sit here and I'm just like, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. The issue why we're not playing Syntherian is survivability, because you can't get your jacks up the table when you're facing down shooting. And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, he's got repair checks, but the Convergence jacks are not as survivable even with just those minor repair checks. And I like really hit hard because Syntherian was probably the caster that I played the most in Mark II. And just that idea that, like, with the Mark III meta, he might actually be the caster that hits the bottom when it used to be Aurora, even though Aurora is not that great. It just really threw me off. Also, Slaughter Stallions are in every Signar list. And it's great. So that's fun because everyone is going to be playing ponies for days.
Yep.
Brian thinks that Lucant is a good choice because of how shooty everything is.
Oh yeah, Lucant is definitely the choice, but when Lucant is your main drop into shooting and what, like, you're probably going to run something else.
Brian's
I was
still
gonna
on
say,
it.
let's
Brian's
get
a
into
big fan of
minions,
Legion. He
and then we
loves
can get you
Legion.
some shooting. You'll love brigands. They're fabulous.
I glanced at the lists only very briefly to see what the circle, what was happening circle-wise, and it's a little bit surprising. The top 4, so Wormwood was number 1 at something like 40% of people had Wormwood in their list or something. And then Boulder 2, which I thought was interesting, was the second most popular. Chromac 2 and then Tanith were the 4 that were being taken. And I was not expecting to see Boulder 2 in that mix. I mean, there's definitely a competitive aspect to there, but I think there are other things that are more competitive. So I was surprised to see that mix up, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm sorry, 42%, and then because Boulder 2 was like 20 something percent. So between those two casters, it's over 60% of the circle lists include those two, one of those two. So that was cool. Wormwood is surprisingly, like, I didn't think that it would be as prevalent as he is, but I'm excited to see sort of how it plays out. Wormwood has that nice, he can deal with all the shooty shit because of the forest walls and his feet and stuff.
Yep.
So the shooty shit doesn't bother him as bad as it bothers a lot of others. So that makes sense. But
on the minion side of it, it seemed like the top 2 were Rask, Avi, and then actually Dr. Arcadius, which I was looking more into Caliban, and Caliban wasn't really up there. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. The one list with Caliban had a Sacroval in it, and I'm going to try a list with that. So I'm kind of curious to see how their list does in comparison to how I play out my list, too.
Yeah. I'm just a really shitty War Machine person. I didn't look at any of this shit. So if any of you know, like, the Legion
I
stuff.
look at the Legion stuff. I'm sorry. I wasn't interested. What I can say is that Team America picked some really terrible team names.
Yes.
Going through those lists. Okay, so Team Canada has Team Goose and Team Moose. China has Team Egg Roll. We're Team Red, Team White, and Team Blue. There were other countries that had their flag colors too. But I was just like,
America, least creative country.
yeah, like you could have had.
What were we gonna be though? Like
cheese,
racism,
team obesity, team gun,
team police brutality, team cheese, team beer.
Oh man, but I mean, and when you really get down to it, though, it really just. I almost wonder if it's like, I'm gonna say this and everyone's gonna have a field day calling me out on it, but I feel like the teams that were team flag color were team tryhard, and the teams that were like Team Egg Roll, for example, were probably like the people who I would like to play a game against.
Yeah.
So I was just astounded. Like, Team Italy has Leonardo and Team Michelangelo. Like, come on. Why like, are we really that boring that the only thing that's different about our country are our flag colors, which a significant amount of other countries also have
all 3 of those colors in their flag. Yeah. There's nothing good about America to put. No, I'm just kidding.
like, the only thing we can think of are our flag colors.
Like,
ooh, boy.
what else would we put there? I don't really.
Team Eagle.
Team Bald
Freedom.
Eagle.
Russia had Team Bears and Team Wolves. Like, come on. Team Freedom. I'm all about Team Freedom.
Team Freedom.
Team 4th of July.
I wish that Canada had like Team Bieber.
I don't know. I was a fan of Team Goose and Team Moose.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Sounds
Yeah, I
good.
can handle that. We could have like Team Kardashian and like Team Real Housewives and like
gosh.
Teen Mom. Those could be we could name them after like stupid reality TV shows. That would be Stars and Stripes. That's cheesy as fuck.
awful.
But I think that's
Yeah,
better
it's
than
better
red,
than-
white, and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I thought it
Stars
was
and
like
stripes.
Pokemon. Like, you know, like
Team Red.
Yeah.
Well, they would have had Team Yellow instead of Team White.
Yeah. But then I realized that's what they were doing. I'm like, oh, that's lame.
Yeah.
It would have been better
We
if
could
it
have
was
like
the other
Team
way.
Stars, Team Stripes, and then like Team Colony,
Team Firework.
Team Firework, Team Katy Perry. My brain just goes down a rabbit hole.
We could do like Marvel and DC because that's us.
I like that.
Team Wonder Woman if we had a girls team.
Yeah.
we could take.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the WTC.
I got that from your shirt.
I like it.
So everything else that I have written down on our list is coming from people who had requested for us to talk about things.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do we want to start with the Rob Lowe and Coulter roast?
Considering you're the only one who watched it,
I-
we can give it its little bit of time and just say we're terrible people and we just
They didn't watch it.
a little too busy.
I didn't watch it when it was live because honest to God, I don't fucking care. And then the next day, the Ann Coulter, BuzzFeed monogle thing with all of the things came up, and then Nathan posted a thing about it, and there was a very long argument / conversation about it. And both, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget, Dan White and Aaron both said that they wanted to hear our opinion. Well, you're really just going to hear Celeste's opinion because these bitches didn't watch it. So
Even if
I'm
my
sure
husband
you're
tells me,
excited about
yeah.
that.
Go
Here's
watch
some
it.
Celeste opinion. So if you're not, the first thing that I have to say is that a lot of the people who are commenting about whether it was right or wrong did not watch the actual roast. They only watched the clips of Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
And they very clearly didn't understand what modern, especially these Comedy Central roasts have become, where there's a panel of invited people from the person's past, and all of those people get roasted. They just take turns in turn. Literally, like, the number one line was, so-and-so's here, let me roast that person. Like, every person stood up and roasted every single other person, including Rob Lowe, who was the main person. It was not like, for everybody who's like, oh, it was a Rob Lowe roast that became an Ann Coulter roast. Not really. Like, every person on that panel had shit things, like jokes at them by every other person. That's how it works. That's what the roasts are. So a lot of people were just talking out their ass and they had no clue what they were talking about. Ann's, you should look up, if you haven't watched it yet, you should look up Ann's her monologue, because I did some more research and I found out that she actually didn't know what she was getting herself into. She refused to listen to any of her advisors tell her. She refused to watch any of the previous roasts that they tried to get her to watch so that she would know what to expect. And they tried to give her advice and she wouldn't listen to them. She also took the jokes that were given to her, cut several of them, and rewrote several others of them, okay? Because she's Ann fucking Coulter. She's the worst fucking human alive, okay? And so she gets up to do her thing, and it was just literally like I heard a cricket in the background. Like, it was terrible, like the worst, not funny bullshit. Not one single one of them was funny. And at one point, what's his face? I can't ever remember his name. The one that was on there from SNL, this like young new SNL guy, and his dad died in 9/11. I can never remember his name. But anyhow, she did a joke about him where she was like, oh, I thought he was like Obama. A mixed race person who took a once cherished institution and turned it into crap, referencing his time on SNL. And then she was like, oh, but it turns out I'm wrong. He's actually not mixed race. And he was sitting up there on the panel, the guy, and he was like, oh, funny from his seat, because like it was terrible. It was just terrible. She was terrible. The whole thing was terrible. And everybody, you could tell that I broke it down into 3 categories. There were jokes that were just part of the roast, like not in any way, shape, or form any worse or anything because it was Ann Coulter, just jokes. Like somebody was like, Ann Coulter, if you're here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops? And, like just normal, that's the way the roasts work. That's not, it's just a roast. That's what happens. That's what's said. There was a bunch, it's 56 days until Halloween, but I see that Ann Coulter's already in her skeleton costume. Like just funny, whatever. Then there were jokes that were what I would say arguably misogynist, and not necessarily because they were intending to be, but because that's the way our society works, where things happen that are not, where people don't, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like the example that I have is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning got up and he said, so I just realized I'm not the only athlete here. If you don't know, earlier this year, Ann Coulter won the Kentucky Derby. And it there were lots of like horse face jokes about Ann Coulter that were made throughout the night. it's, in my opinion, and arguably, because other people argue that that's not misogynist because they were ripping on everybody's appearance. I argue that it is to an extent because women are held to such a different standard of appearance. Like Ann Coulter in every other capacity, if you take the fact that she's scum out of her, she's actually physically relatively attractive. Like she hits all of what society considers to be attractive in a woman. Like she's tall and she's thin and she has long pretty hair and she has a thin face. Like according to everything else that society would dictate as a person that is beautiful in a woman, she has all of those things. We consider her ugly because we don't appreciate her opinions. And women, unlike men, we put those two things together. If you have shitty opinions, then you can't be physically beautiful. And if you're not physically beautiful, then nobody takes your opinion seriously. And that happens to a degree with women far more than it happens to men. So making a joke about someone and calling her horse-faced, in my opinion, is misogynist at its core. Comedy is misogynist at its core. So I'm not arguing that that joke was inappropriate or whatever. I don't really have an opinion. Comedy always, walks the line of appropriateness or whatever. But it definitely was misogynist in the fact that it was holding her beauty to a standard based on her opinions and not based on her actual, okay, so her face is long. She doesn't look like a horse. Whatever. Then there was this one guy who was just an asshole. Okay, you could tell that he was... I wrote this down because... Well, yeah, I have one more. But this is Jimmy Carr. I don't know Jimmy Carr. He's British or something, apparently. I didn't think that anything that he said was really all that funny. He was sort of just an asshole. But I just wrote down his exact quote, okay? Because this is where I think this is not comedy. This was just he hated her and he wanted to use his opportunity to be terrible. Okay, so this was his exact quote. Ann Coulter, here we go. Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced bitches alive. But it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself. Ann Coulter looks so much like a truck stop transvestite whore that I saw Jeff Ross run to an ATM just before the show. Ann Coulter's pussy, seriously, this gets classy, is so old and dry that it just got a job drawing cartoons for The New Yorker. Okay, so the last one made me chuckle a little bit, right? The last one is an actual joke. It's still gross, but it's, funny. The first two are not funny in any capacity.
No.
Not even a little bit humorous.
I think anytime your joke is go kill yourself, you have a problem.
Yeah, it's not funny. And then to bring in the transphobia of using the term transvestite and prostitution and all of the stigma that goes along with prostitution and anti blah 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 blah. Those just weren't funny. It wasn't funny. It wasn't comedy in any way. That was obviously a situation where that dude decided to use his platform to be cruel to her. And whatever you think about her, I don't care. That's what was happening in that instance. So it's when I look back on the whole thing, I saw 3 different things happening. And honest to God, from my opinion, I'm not going as a feminist to go up in arms over this because comedy is always questionable, and this is not the thing I'm going to take up my stake about. There are definitely issues, I think, but at the same time, a lot of it wasn't as bad as I think some people are trying to make it out to be, if that makes sense. So, was it shitty? Sure, some of it was shitty. Was it not shitty? Sure, some of it was not shitty. Do I care? Not particularly in this particular case, and if you think that makes me a bad feminist, well, fuck you.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the rest of us didn't watch it, so it shows how much we care.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it because of Ann Coulter, because I do think that Ann Coulter is literally the worst, one of the worst people alive. And that's the reason why I watched the clip of her, because I wanted to see what was said. You could definitely see, though, and not that I really struggle because I have no sympathy for this woman whatsoever. She is purposely hateful, and she is known as being mean on purpose to be mean to people. So it's not like I feel bad, but you can tell if you watch the whole thing, you can definitely tell that that they were truthful when they said she didn't watch old ones. She didn't know what to expect going into this, because you could see her sitting there trying not to break. You could see that the jokes were getting to her and that she wasn't prepared for that level of having someone tell her to kill herself on the stage live in front of an audience of people, and you can see it in her face that as the night goes, every time they pan to her, her smile is just more like forced in place, where she's trying really hard not to. And if we hate her because she's so mean, then what does it say about us that we're okay with being that mean to her? Like, whatever, I don't care, she's terrible and I hate her. But at the same time, like, it's not okay to hate her for being so cruel and hateful and then not also hate the people who are cruel and hateful to her. I don't know. I feel blah about it. So that's my opinion about that. I'm happy to listen to anybody who wants to tell me that I'm a shitty feminist about that. Because honestly, this is one of those things where I think inside of the realm of feminism, there are multiple viewpoints you could take and nobody's necessarily right or wrong. That's my thing on that. I was not expecting to be the only person who watched it, though. So.
I'm pretty lazy. I
Whatever.
had a lot of
It's fine.
pre-birthday celebration to do and work and take care of
honestly,
O'Brien.
this is not important. Like, a Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe, by the way, a lot of it was hilarious. But a lot of it was inappropriately hilarious. Like, there were lots of times, just with anything in pop culture, I say this all the time, if I'm going to partake in pop culture, I have to turn off the critically thinking part of my brain. I have to. Because everything, like, I try to go back and watch old episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, if I don't turn off that part of my brain, I can't enjoy any modern culture whatsoever. Because it's just all shit. It just really is. So, whatever. And Coulter is terrible, is the point of that.
Is the next topic best of awards?
Yes. So Byron Lyles...
Best of.
Byron Lyles sent us a private message on Facebook and said, offered up the idea and wanted to hear our opinions about tournament events that have specific awards for the best female participant.
Just best female.
Best female.
Best female is what it's called.
And I didn't tell him what our opinions were. I just responded back to him and said, sure, we'll talk about it on the next episode. Or I think you responded.
I did.
And said, we all have lots of strong opinions.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Can I go first?
Yes, go.
Because I'm pretty sure the way I responded to this in our Facebook chat was, that's fucking stupid. Like, that's it. It's fucking stupid. Why would you do that?
Yep.
Obviously, there are a million reasons why it's fucking stupid, as we've all addressed. What constitutes best female? Is it, best female player? Well, why isn't she just, winning in,
well, that's the
ranking,
thing.
top 1, 2,
if
or
she
3?
wins, if she wins first place, does she get the first place trophy and the best female trophy?
Yeah.
Or is it only like if the best female who wasn't as good as the men?
Yeah.
Like,
or is it best female in sportsmanship? I am the best female sports player. Why am I not winning best at sportsmanship then? Is it just because I'm there and I have the nicest tits? Is it because I have the most friends? I'm the one who's there and I know 60% of the players here and they're all the top tier players, so they're all going to vote for me as best female. It is a pissing race. It is stupid. And if your tournament wants to have a best female award as a way to bring out more females, you're not bringing out more females.
Well, what if you're the only female there?
Then you get my default.
well, you are the best. Obviously, that's the way to win it.
Hey,
Just
hey.
make sure none of them take it.
That's how I got
Oh,
my
hey,
Legion coin.
Byron, you're here. He talked about though that it has happened. He's seen it specifically at large player events or whatever, and the goal is to bring out more women. This is my perspective on it is that's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. It's not actually going to do the thing that you're trying to get it to do. If you want more women, don't give us some shitty pin that says best female on it. That's like trying to win us over with watches and jewelry, while still having a game where we're not safe to come and play and spaces where we don't feel comfortable. That's a really sort of privileged white dude way of saying, what do you think we can do to get more women to play? If you want more women to play, you create a game space that encourages women to come and play, and then you won't have to give out fancy medals for best female sportsman or whatever, because women will already be and most women I know wouldn't join the game and play more if they thought they were going to win a special.
Oh, I'm gonna win best female.
I'm gonna win best female. Fuck you! I'm totally gonna win best female. Now, see, and then it just makes us all hate each other.
Yeah,
this is a terrible idea. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's it's trying to fix the problem by not actually fixing the problem. And that's my opinion about it.
I was thinking on the way in, like, okay, magic is kind of the gateway drug into gaming.
Crack.
Right. But I was thinking, like, you know, if it weren't for Aaron, I would never play this game. Like, to be honest.
yeah, same for
Same
me.
thing.
So,
Yeah, same for me.
you know,
Not Aaron, but
Yeah.
Brian.
I have a totally different opinion, but keep going.
You're far more of a gamer.
It's terrible. It's gross. It's disgusting. We don't need to talk about it.
but I guess, you know, getting more women into the game.
Keep going.
Okay. I'm not really sure how to make it more appealing. Like, because, like, I remember walking into Misty and being like, okay, these are some models. Like, this is kind
Misty has a smell problem.
That
well,
too.
I mean, beyond
the
that.
reason it's misty.
They should call it Musty Mountain.
That's good comedy.
Oh yeah. Okay, Andy. We sort of talked about that.
Best hair? Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
No. The
Yes, Andy should be able to win Best Female.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he wants to be Best Female.
Right.
So like we discussed we discussed having a tournament where you can dress like a female if you wanted to even
Yeah,
win
it
something.
was, instead of doing Best Female, it was have Ladies Night
Yeah.
style tournament.
Yeah,
where
Ladies Night.
Entry fee is half for women or people dressed as women.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I would totally go to that. Ironically, the War Machine weekend, the Women of War Machine group is considering doing like a women only, sort of like how they have the old folks tournament with all the old crotchety dudes, and Menoth John, who's like almost old and crotchety but not quite. They're thinking about doing reserving a room and doing like an all girls tournament. Now that's an idea I can see as having some sort of benefit.
Yeah,
because it encourages the camaraderie between the women. We all get to know each other better. We
Yeah.
don't have to deal with like that seems fun to me.
That and then like other women that are there just because husband brought them along. They're not really into anything, and they can walk in and actually feel comfortable and watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Or ask questions that they would feel stupid asking to their partners or, to the guys.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, going into your game store and looking at the stuff, it's just kind of like, I honestly would never play the game.
Yeah. Well, when I started playing it, the biggest problem that I had, I argued with Brian all the time. I was like, I only get a very limited amount of free time. Like, this is how you spend your free time. And it took my brain, because especially as a mom, my brain is like, okay, I need to clean the house and I want to spend time with my child and I need to make sure that she's getting an education and am I teaching her ABCs enough and like, is she learning about social, like, I feel very torn to spend my time in lots of other ways. And I had a really hard time justifying making time for the game. And I think that that's probably a portion of why women don't play as much, because they feel like they have so many other priorities that they don't have the time
I can
to
see
put
that
towards
because we're still, the women of the house.
right. There's so
Sorry,
still.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Amanda's like, this doesn't apply to me either. That's shit.
Great way to generalize.
It is still a big thing.
Yeah.
No, I won't disagree. And I've been on this, I've expressed it before numerous times. With Brian being out of commission with his knee, normally housework was split like maybe 60-40, him doing the 60. Not gonna lie.
Your life is good.
Now it's all fallen on me, and so I'm going to work, the 8+ hours a day that I'm there, doing everything at home, doing all of the grocery shopping, and taking care of him on top of it. And I'm just like, fuck this. Like, I want to binge watch Netflix, and that is all I want to do for like the 2 hours that I have left of my day.
That's how I was feeling too. And I think Brian and I have a similar situation. Brian does a lot more of the housework than I think in a normal situation, because Nadine, he came into Nadine's life. Nadine has 4 primary parents, and he was the last one. She was almost 2 when he came into her life, and so her bond with him isn't as strong. And if I'm there, she will literally latch on to me like a fucking sea animal and not let go of me. And so I have to do all of the parenting. Mm-hmm. So he picks up a lot of the housework just by default because I'm doing a lot of the main parenting work. And then at the end, when I'm done, when we're both done, when everything's done, he's like, "Cool, you want to play play a game, and I'm like, no, dude, I want to sleep. I just took care of a freaking toddler.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult. I think that that's probably finding a way to convince women that it's worth the time investment is probably one of the biggest obstacles to get more women to play the game.
Yeah.
And it is, the funny thing is, it is worth the time investment. Like, I started investing more time because I wanted to be more competitive. I started coming to more events because I liked the friendships that I was developing. It helps my brain stay really, like, I'm using my brain for more, like, than just the ABCs repeatedly and cleaning up someone else's poop all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me think about things. Like, I think it is worth the time investment, but it might be hard to convince people.
We are definitely talking about the general concept of the significant other, the stay-at-home mom, or the that type of personality. Like, for me, on the opposite side of things, I have always been a gamer. It's just always what I've done. Just tabletop wasn't always my thing. Like, I'm a console gamer, PC gamer, whatever. That's just what I've done. And when Brian and I started dating, I had started playing Magic, which is a horrible thing, but he played Magic, and so we played together. But I had played Magic before and just wasn't super into it. And then we made the transition into 40K. And 40K was his main game, and I wanted to pick up all of the smaller skirmish games. So I was the one who was like, I see Malifaux, let's play Malifaux, this looks interesting. My first battle box was Legion. I was like, this is really cool, I want to play this, let's play this together. I was the one who sat down and read the Infinity rulebook and was like, let's play this looks fun. But that's like a totally different side of things, and I think you really have to approach that there are different types of women who are going to want to be getting into this game.
Right.
And I think that it's not just about the timing, it's just saying, like, this game is worth your time. It's I'm losing my train of thought here. But
I understand
think
what you're saying.
We need to definitely approach it from it appeals to different people in different ways, and being able to consciously express those different, like, this is how it appeals to person A, this is how it appeals to person B, now let's work with person A and B together and figure out how to get them to play.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
Something that made me think of, too, is I've seen a couple forum posts of people being like, I'm getting my wife or girlfriend into War Machine, like, what faction would be good for her? And everyone's like, oh, do this. And it's like,
fuck you.
Just give her a book and
Why
let
is
her
that
pick
even
something.
a conversation that people have?
It pisses me off whenever I see something like that. I just want to be like, give your wife some fucking pictures of the faction and a
Take her to the store and let her choose her own fucking faction.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I did.
That's what I did, too.
I mean, that's what I did.
Aaron handed me a book, and I'm like, gators look cute. That's how I started.
I picked Circle because of the number of female models.
Legion
has
was
more.
adorable.
I probably would have picked Legion.
I
but
like
Brian's
the
dad
shredders.
picked
The shredders were
They're adorable.
dinosaur, puppy, sharks.
I don't take care of Brian.
I
That's
agree
what
with
happened.
Tort, though. I do need to cut down on my taking care of Brian hours
Oh, yeah.
because he doesn't need to be fed.
Yeah, don't feed him. Don't feed him. Don't do
No,
it.
that's actually just been. I don't cook. And I don't do the kitchen. That's where most of the housework comes. I'm like, I'll clean the bathroom, I'll tidy up the living room, and now I'm cooking and taking care of the dishes, and I'm just like, this is too much work. Like, why don't we have a nanny or a maid, or like, why don't you make more money so I don't have to do this stuff?
Yeah. Frequently, Brian and I are like, we need to hire a house cleaner, and then we're like, yep, no money for that shit.
Brian's mom offered to help us out, to like come over and do some of that stuff, and that just makes me feel even worse.
Me too.
Oh God!
Same
Don't
thing.
even
She's
get
like,
me
"Do you want me to
started.
come over and do your laundry?" And I'm just like,
No.
no.
It's such a sweet gesture, too.
Yes.
And I'm like, I just, because Brian's mom does the same thing. She's like, let me come over and help you clean. And I tell Brian, like, she's going to judge the fuck out of me. And he's like, she's really not. And I'm like, don't let her in this house. And he's like, you're weird. And I'm like, I know.
Okay, you guys. Yours just ask you if they can.
Do they just do it?
My mother just does it.
Oh, the last time Brian's mom was over, she cleaned our kitchen, and I came home and I was just like, sweetheart, did you do this? Because you need to be sitting down. And he's like, no, mom did it. And I was just like, that's even worse.
Yeah. It is, right? Do
Like,
you have that in-law thing?
Not really.
Not really?
Like,
That's good for you.
It's. I mean,
respect your privacy.
my mother doesn't judge me like a ton for how my house looks because it could definitely be worse. But like if we're at a con or something, and I ask her to let the dogs out once in a while, there have been a couple times where she like cleaned the
Cleans.
kitchen and cleaned off the table. It's just like, fuck, where did everything go? No, this does not go here. It goes back over here. Just no.
Do you guys live close to your families? Like my
My mom's like 10 minutes away, if that.
Brian's family is
And
like
then-
within a half an hour.
No,
Yeah.
Brian's family is like 40 minutes away, but with him being injured, and like I either have to take the time off of work to get him to the doctor, or she'll come down. But yeah, his parents are like 40 minutes away, and the collective family that I actually interact with is everywhere.
Yeah. His family are right across the street.
Oh God, you poor
That's
thing.
close.
But it was really great when we first moved there because we had sewer problems. We just went across the street to use the bathroom.
It'll also be good when you have a baby because there will be people really close by that you can call and be like, "Get over here, Grandma. Take a fucking turn with your grandchild, Grandma."
That scares me. I could not leave a child that was mine with someone that is not me. I'm not planning on having children, which is just whatever it is, but I think if I had one, I would be like, no, you can't babysit for more than a half an hour.
I had Amanda's baby shoved at me after she changed his diaper, and it's just like, am I doing this right? It's so unnatural. No.
Have, like, the opposite
No.
interaction. Like, I am so much older than my younger siblings that, like, child rearing is second nature.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to do it. I've done it 3 times. Like, your child has a fever, no big deal. Give it some Tylenol, send it to bed. Like,
Yeah.
not adult Tylenol, 'cause that's not smart. But, like, it's not something, I don't know. Brian and I had this conversation because I was slightly drunk driving home Friday night. I don't know where the children topic came up. He can't drive, and I had 2 drinks. And I was like, sweetheart, do you want to drive? And he's like, no, I'll be fine. And I'm just like, that's not why I'm asking. But we had gotten on the topic somehow, and he was just like, you just aren't a nurturing person. And I was just like, as bad as that sounds, he is completely right. I don't have it in me.
But
to-
if you had a child, you wouldn't let it with anybody else.
I wouldn't, because I would be just not pleased with how they raised it.
I was never that person. I was fine with Nadine and go. I was like, goodbye. Have fun at grandma's. Like, to the point where I actually questioned, like, if I wasn't forming enough of a maternal bond with her, and like thought I was a bad parent because all these other moms were like, no, they're like their 2-year-old. Oh, so and so had their first night overnight at grandma's house. Like Nadine was like 4 weeks old and she had her first night at her grandma's house. Like I was like, goodbye, see you tomorrow. Enjoy no sleep. Like it just never bothered me for her to be.
My concern is like what they like the interactions, like what they'll allow your child to do. Like, oh, it's fine if it sits in front of the television for 6 hours watching R-rated films.
No, I set very strict rules for anybody who has Nadine. Like, I wouldn't let her be with... Although, to be fair, my grandma, whenever we go to Indiana, feeds her donut holes for breakfast. And I've told my grandma before, like, stop it. And then the next morning, Nadine comes into bed. She's like, wake up, Mommy. Like, stuffing her face full of donut holes. So, whatever. Parenting is hard. Okay, so the last one that I wrote down is this thing about Pathfinder Dan. Did anybody else read his PM?
I'm not sure I saw that one.
Which one was that?
We could pull it up right now.
Yeah.
It was very long.
I'm pretty sure I read it. It's just
that one
I'm
I
not
kept
remembering what
trying
it
to
is.
look at, and it wouldn't let me look at it.
Oh yeah, that one I didn't get to see.
It's really
Like, it
hard
kept
to
telling
pull
me-
stuff up.
Yeah.
There was an error.
Yeah.
It was, so the short version of it was essentially that he was thanking us for doing the podcast. He talked about how he grew up in a predominantly
something
female household, and
Went
so
wrong, try again.
Yeah. See?
yeah, it's been doing that to me
I
too.
can't-
Only on the computer I'm able to pull it up, which is so I had to sit down and look it up. But he talked about how he grew up in a predominantly female household, and so the idea of this like toxic masculinity wasn't introduced to him until he would like left home and like saw it happening in whatever. And he talked about the effect of toxic masculinity on men, because we talk a lot about how toxic masculinity affects women, and we talk even a little bit about how toxic masculinity affects like trans folk, but sometimes we miss how much toxic masculinity affects men. And what happens, like, it immediately made me think, and what I responded back to him, it took me right back to the conversation about the phrase, play like you've got a pair. It took me right back to that. You know, we argued about that, about women players, and we argued that about, you know, the effect on trans folk or on men who don't have two testicles and all of the implications, blah, 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 blah. And we totally neglected to acknowledge the negative effect that can have on like a cisgender man who identifies as a man, who's completely man, who has two testicles. It's still bullshit. It still negatively affects every aspect of their shit. And it's terrible for everything. And so I just responded back and thanked him for his comment and how it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to remember that feminism is about protecting men too from like the shit and all of the expectations about what a man, you know, this whole like real men, ABC or whatever bullshit that comes up. I thought his PM test was really cool. And and that's where my circumcision note comes in. I blame circumcision. I blame circumcision.
It's just really important for everyone to know that when she flashed that flashcard at me and I saw it from like the far end of the table, I thought it said self-circumcision, and it was really concerning for a moment.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. Don't do that. That's terrible. Don't do it. No, I've said that. I actually said this to one of the other guys who PM'd us, I think. I said, like, I blame circumcision. Like, you know, there are studies that say that trauma on newborn babies, like, if something traumatic happens to them in the first few days after they're born, and even during the, like, foundational years of, like, up to 4 or 5, trauma can actually rewire the way that their brains develop to create problems. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, the very first thing you do to this baby that just literally escaped a fucking vagina is to cut the fucking end of its penis off. Is that not the most fucking traumatic thing in the world? It rewires their brain, and then they grow up to be mean fucking assholes.
I won't disagree with you. And not that I'm not a man, I don't have a penis, so circumcision is something that I can't have as strong of an opinion of as I actually do. But, like, the issue with circumcision is that your health insurance, coming from someone who works in health insurance, is a really great argument, covers it when you're a newborn or during, like, the first days of your life. If you are not circumcised when you are a newborn child, which is probably really great and good as long as you take care of your penis and you clean up after yourself, because everyone is circumcised, people who don't know how to clean their dick.
Yeah.
It's just problematic in itself.
It's problematic no
When
matter what if you don't know how to
become
clean
an
your dick.
adult and you want to make the conscious decision to be circumcised, it is now a cosmetic procedure, and your health insurance won't cover it.
That's interesting.
Unless you are having serious problems
Like
because you have
medical
foreskin.
issues.
Yep.
I know very few intact men who, like, literally, when I say very few, I mean 0. I have never met an intact man who would choose to have a circumcision unless there's some sort of significant medical issue. But, like, infants, it's a different procedure on newborns than it is on grown men. Like, a lot of people don't understand that when a newborn baby is born, and for the first several years of its life, the foreskin is fused to the shaft of the penis. It's not separate like it is in a grown man who has foreskin still on his penis. They're fused together. So when we're talking about cutting off the foreskin of an infant, it's not just like they pull up the foreskin and snip it off. They have to pull it apart from the shaft of the penis, separate it from its fused,
Yeah, no thank you.
and then snip it off. If you haven't ever Google the fucking video of circumcision and then cut your eyeballs out, because it's terrible. But anyhow, I have this theory in my head that part of the reason that men have anger problems at a higher propensity than women is because one of the very first experiences, especially in America, because anger problems seem to be larger here than in other countries, circumcision rates are higher here than in other countries, and I have a theory, it's just a personal theory, that because the very first thing that happens to them is this traumatic fucking, their genitals are mutilated against their consent, without their ability to consent for that procedure, rewires their brains to be more angry and sad and terrible, and that's why more men are angry and sad and terrible. That, like I said, just a personal opinion. There's no, like, that's just me.
We're talking about dicks again. You know, I am not on the Muse forums. While you guys are reading, I'll just tell this story for everyone else to hear. But I tend to lurk in them and just see what people are posting about us, and then whenever I'm on the Crippled System podcast, what they say there. So I see everything that everyone says, but I don't know if it was on Facebook or in the Muse forums, but we talked about dicks a whole lot, and someone actually counted the number of times. I don't know if it was we collectively or me myself had said the word dick, and it was 85. So,
Cool.
yeah. In the 2-hour time span, somehow we managed to say dick 85 times.
That sounds about right for my life.
We should keep a dick count.
Mine in particular, I talk about it a lot because it's like my work. My job is penises and vaginas, so I say it a lot.
I
But
kind of want to go back to that because that reminds me so before Legion had launched for World of Warcraft, there was this guy or a bunch of people that were doing runs called Friendship Moose, and basically they would run you through this mythic raid, and at the end you'd get a moose mount, and it's gone now because Legion launched. So they were keeping counts as they were streaming, and like this one guy ended up getting over 9,000. So I feel like I want to go back and watch them and keep count and post that every time.
Totally on topic, off topic. I have a multitude of usernames on the internet for the many things that I do, and one of the usernames that I have for a troll account is Missile Guided Dicks. So the other day I was on the internet doing the things that I normally do, and someone had posted just
Porn.
this a whole lot of porn. Someone had posted this just like image on Facebook that was, could you imagine having sex and someone moaning out your username? And I was just like, yeah, no. Like, that's really strange, because there's some of them, like, all of mine are just terrible. Like, I have Chilbro Swaggins as one. Like, all of my usernames are just terrible. But I'm just like, I'm almost as bad as people who have the, like, XX420 Gamer69XX or something ridiculous like
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm just looking at all the usernames that we have
I
on
know.
Twitch right now.
Torture-rific.
It's like, Torture-rific! That's all I can think about right now.
put it in my Arctic Circle. For those who acknowledge their frozen pussy, I just put it in my Arctic Circle.
I wasn't even thinking vagina.
Yeah, no, I took it there. Well, circle.
I have a Smurf account for Heroes of the Storm, and it's your mom says hey.
Just yell that out during sex. I'm gonna test that with Brian. I'll let you guys know what it is. Your mom says hey. I'm gonna say it in like a gay man voice too. I love it.
Oh my god.
None of ours aren't really all that funny. Like Brian's it would be like spook, which isn't really sexy or funny.
No, I think the one of mine that really gets me is Missile Guided Dicks, but I have to be like, watch where
Brian's
I
like
use that.
going missile guided dicks.
But like my Twitch one is narwhals, and that's just
That actually sounds like a sound somebody might make during sex.
concerning.
I just snorted. I love it. That's really
Oh my
funny.
god.
This is amazing.
Brian was standing in the kitchen the other day, like we were both naked because that's the way we live our lives, and I had my phone open. I don't even remember why, but I realized that my phone, I was just standing casually and he was just standing casually, and I realized that if I didn't move and continued to play casual, I could open up my camera and it would be pointed right at his dick. So I did. So I took a picture and I showed it to him, and he was like, come on, really, with that now? And I was like, can we put a can of Arizona tea next to it? Like, you're flaccid, and then like dick pic somebody with it, and he was like, please don't do that. Please don't. And then he was like, this is not going to end well, because he knew that that's something I would totally do. I didn't. Don't worry. I deleted that picture. It was not a flattering dick pic. Yeah, that's that.
Oh gosh.
That is a problematic thing. I spend most of my time unclothed at home, and we have all of our windows
so
open
much.
right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to remember
Every single neighbor has
that
seen my
I can't,
naked body.
like, walk out into the living room completely like from the bedroom and just be like, "Hi, hon, I'm awake now," because everything is just wide open.
I definitely do that, and I don't care. Like, I'll be especially at nighttime when the lights are on inside and I know, and there's like the cats, they pull the curtains over so that they can look outside, and then they just walk away like assholes and don't like close it behind them. So like I thought it was closed. I come downstairs completely naked and it's open, and I'm like, well, here you go, neighbors. And I'm sure the neighbors appreciate that greatly.
Oh yeah, we used to have a tree. We don't have a tree anymore.
Oh, yeah, so the neighbors can see. Well, your neighbors are your parents, right?
Well, we also have another set of neighbors next to them.
If your parents saw that dick pic, they'd be very disappointed in the state of your kitchen.
Yes, that's true. Like I
exactly. Your kitchen is a mess. Don't take a dick pic in your kitchen.
Exactly, just like our last time conversation.
You're gonna take
I
a
could
dick
have
pic,
seriously
nice scenery.
texted that picture of Brian's penis to Brian's mom, and she would have been like, "You need to clean up all that dog hair on the floor." That's a very weird conversation.
Gosh.
Out of water.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I don't have anything else on the list. Does anybody else have anything?
I was gonna say, do we have anything like on our document thing? Because it's only like.
We haven't used that in a whole while.
I mean, we normally
we
go
have-
till 5,
we have a
but we
couple
got a
more.
late start.
We did have a late start.
Oh, we haven't gone that
So-
long at all. I feel like we've
No, it's
talking
been
a lot
like an
longer.
hour.
I forgot about this quote. I'm going to tell you this quote from the roast. This is another one that I thought was completely inappropriate that I forgot because it was on the back of my note card. Rob Lowe himself said, "Why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Because the Right to Lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close." And it was very mixed. It like panned to the audience, and there were people who were like chuckling awkwardly, and then there were people who were like like terrified that that's a thing that just was said. Also not funny.
One of the things was, does gender play a role in playstyle, assassination versus attrition, or personality?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, no.
Well,
Those are backwards. One has more letters.
Yeah, I was like, that's not right.
I almost think, I don't know, because I think we all play differently.
Well, yeah, we play our faction. How the faction needs to play.
Well,
No, those are backwards. I'm sorry. Those are really backwards. We all, like, all of us here play totally different.
Yeah.
I like to go in for the kill. I go in for the throat. But that's just the kind of person I am. But women in general, we could probably look at it across the board and see some similarities.
right, because I play more for scenario. I like to outlast.
It depends on what caster I'm playing with and what my list is, honest to
Yeah.
God. Like,
Yeah.
when I do remember when I first started the game, I did not understand why. I thought that, and this I think is probably more misunderstanding the game since I wasn't a gamer going in. I thought that scenario wins were like the equivalent of cheating. Like, if you didn't have for people who weren't good enough to actually assassinate, then they could try the fucking cheaty ass way of winning on scenario.
Flip side, it's actually the other way around.
Yeah. It is.
And and it took me a long time to realize that like those are both functional ways to play the game. So that speaks a little bit to my brain goes immediately to let me assassinate your caster, but that might be more the way I was taught to play the game too. It's hard to say.
I'm very much that same way. I can like see the board, understand that there are there's the control zone over there. I can like do this, do that, but like always at the forefront of my mind is what can I do to kill your caster?
Yeah.
Right.
That's just. But I think that, like, again, we're all going to have different play styles, and that one is very me. But I could almost assume that you could just look at trending and see that females in general probably play the game slightly differently than men. And whether it has to do with the factions that they play more often, or the way we've learned the game as, like, secondary to partners for a lot of people. And I don't know why I'm doing finger quotes for that, because that's almost exactly what it is. I feel like just female personality. Like, there is a female personality, and it probably plays a part in how we play the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, what's interesting to me is I relate this to Magic because that's what got me into it. But in Magic, I played red and green, so big beast, go quick.
Don't know anything. Okay.
But that's what it was. Basically, the bigger beast, the happier I was. So that's kind of, I mean, that worked out well with the factions that I picked. I don't really know why I like scenario though. I don't like to have my dick out in the wind, and I don't want to die. So
Windy
and
dick
I
is-
want you to have your dick out.
I feel like when I was beast heavy, I would go for the kill. Oh yeah. But like if I had more units, like I could maybe win scenario. But yeah, That's how I feel like how I did Mark II a lot.
I think that your old Legion lists were definitely assassination lists. Like
Yeah.
Mark II Legion was an assassination faction.
Yeah.
For sure.
You were going to say something, and then I started talking.
No, it's okay. I'm good. I don't remember what it was.
Do you guys still follow, does anybody still follow Magic, or are you part of the Magic community?
Not really.
I
Not
traded
really.
in my Magic cards for War Machine.
Okay. There was
I
some
should do
shit,
that.
apparently.
There's always some shit in the Magic
But
community.
like transgender shit. Like there's a player, I don't know much about it. I asked David at Gametown last week because they're a player, a very well-known transgender player was like publicly humiliated by another player. I don't know the exact extent of it, but it was this big giant thing inside of the Magic community. Was they're dealing with the sexism and the transphobia.
As much of a shame as that is, I am not surprised.
Really?
The
No.
Magic community
Magic
is...
community are kind of assholes.
Yeah.
It's like
Lots
40K.
lots
but
of
different.
like guys who live in mom's basement type
Yeah.
of
Well,
guys.
I
Or...
wouldn't even say guys who live... Like, Magic is... It, at its core, it's male players mostly. Like, if
Yeah.
you look at top 8 from any Star City event, they're always going to be male players.
That's
and
so
they're
interesting.
Often male, like, middle class, white. A lot of them are, like, fairly fit and healthy. Like, it's a really surprising, like, who it is. Like, there's obviously your typical nerd gamer, but Magic is costly. So you have people who are coming from, like, wealthier backgrounds or like more traditional white picket fence American families. Very, very heavily masculine, and the game does nothing within its community to kind of break those boundaries.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know anything about it. I just heard that the thing had happened, and like that it sounded like some of the community was trying to stand up against the guy who had done the shit talking or whatever, because the player is actually, I don't know. Anyhow, it's a thing that's happening.
Well, at least it's happening.
Yeah, the conversation happening
Yeah.
is probably at least good, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that's ever happened in the Magic community, and I think this has come up on a Crippled System podcast before, and I don't remember if I got to participate in this one or not, because I really have strong feelings about this. The gentleman who
Took the picture with the butts.
this guy was at a major Magic event and had someone he would pose next to people with their asses hanging out, which is a very common trait in your typical gamer. He would pose in the photo and they would take the picture and it would just be posted. I have very strong feelings about this on both ends of the spectrum, because that's obviously like really fucking rude, but that is a big problem. And it's like big problems, like, because these people are people who might not have the money to buy clothing that fits them, but also these people really need to cover up their asses because that makes people really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I would
Also-
argue that you just said that Magic is a really expensive game, so if they're playing the game of Magic, they probably do have the money, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Dressing a certain way or to a certain standard is not everybody's priority, and it's shitty to shame them if they don't choose to live up to a certain standard that society has set, blah, blah, blah. It's a hard...
Yeah, but I feel like when this much of your back and ass is hanging out,
Yeah.
you gotta, I don't want to say you gotta cover up, but like you need to be conscious that there are people walking in, women and children sometimes at these events, and that is, like, it is someone's ass. It's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to see it.
No.
And it's such a large majority of those people.
Yeah. And I saw the picture. It was at least like 200 people. All men. All men. I couldn't see a single woman in that photo.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if there were women there, I would feel like fucking terrible if I were there.
You
Just
pretty
like-
much are walking around like this at this point. Like, you are covering your eyes.
Yeah.
You've got blinders on. You don't want to see that.
You don't want to see it.
My visceral reaction is to say that if we're not willing to allow men to tell women what to wear and how to dress and what parts of their bodies to cover up, we shouldn't tell men what to wear or how to dress or what parts of their bodies to cover up. Like, that's my initial reaction. My side reaction to that is like,
It's not socially acceptable for your
If
ass
women,
to hang out, is
yeah,
what I feel like.
there's definitely a point to be made that those guys don't get called sluts, or their sexuality is not called into question. What kind of people they are isn't called into question. They're not demoralized or degraded or whatever. They're just called gross. Like, that's the extent of what they get from from exposing their bodies versus women who expose their bodies who get raped and blah 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 blah. So I feel multiple ways about it, but
Like I said, I have feelings all over the spectrum.
yeah.
Also,
Go ahead.
yeah, he got banned from Magic.
He got unbanned. He did? He did get unbanned.
Yeah.
How long after he was banned?
I have no idea.
Okay, but he's back playing Magic again now, probably.
I think he was just banned from specific events.
Yeah.
That makes sense. My favorite story about Magic is that Brian decided to sell all of his cards, so we got a whole bunch of them. I found a buyer on Craigslist to buy a bunch of them. I met this guy. I was doing it because Brian was busy, so it was like a giant, 1,000 sleeve thing of cards that were whatever that we were selling this guy. We met at a Starbucks in Milwaukee. He was a fucking asshole to me and like sexually inappropriate with me even after I asked him to stop being sexually inappropriate with me. Like tried to sit on my side of the booth at the Starbucks and like weird and creepy, right? And so asked me on a date even though I was talking about these were my boyfriend's cards. Like terrible dude. And so as fast as I could, I gave him the cards, I took the cash, I walked out, I got in my car, and I was sitting in my car collecting myself, and I looked out of the rearview mirror, and he was walking out, and he had the box in one hand, and he had his coffee in the other hand, and he tripped and fell and spilled his coffee all over all of the cards. And I went home and told Brian, and Brian was like... Like, Brian was crying for this douchebag who just spent, like, $700 or something on all these cards and then spilled coffee all over them. And I was like, karma! And Brian was like, I can't even celebrate that victory because I feel so bad about those cards. Like, those were my babies, and now they have coffee. Yeah, that's my favorite Magic story.
Magic is what it is.
I'll buy a pack here and there.
fucking
Just
love opening
because.
packs.
I know.
They smell so good too.
Like new cards.
They have a unique smell.
I'm pretty sure they just lace it with crack on the seam.
They're cardboard,
You know?
crap.
Yeah.
They're like you just. I used to. I never got into like any of the big staple events. Like I didn't.
No.
We played EDH for a while, and that was fun and good. But I loved drafting. Like that was
I
where
sucked at it, but it was fun.
it would sometimes end up where it was like Brian and I competing for top, which is always very frustrating. But I really enjoyed drafting because I love opening packs, and I got to open multiple packs and just be like a child and be like, these are the cards I don't want. Have a good day.
I don't understand the game in any capacity whatsoever. Like, I never learned to play it or anything. I watch people play it, and I'm like, this makes no fucking sense.
It's really straightforward once you learn.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I learned it would
Very
be easy.
simple.
If you learned from like 8 editions ago, maybe like they've added a lot of new
Yeah,
stuff.
but all of the rules are just right on the cards.
I mean that's true, but
Yeah.
you really just have
it's still a lot.
colors. Match your colors. You have, if this one has like 3 green on it, you need to spend 3 green. Like it's really straightforward. Outside of that, everything is right on the card for you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hearthstone has ruined Magic for me. I played Magic first, and then we stopped playing Magic, and I started playing Hearthstone, and then I was trying to teach this friend of mine how to play Magic, and I was playing it like Hearthstone, and Aaron's like, you're doing this wrong. I'm like, I don't know how to play anymore.
That's funny.
This is stupid. That's what I said.
Happened to me when, I don't know if maybe I talked about this last time. I have been playing so much Overwatch that like, it's at that point where like you have your muscle memory and you're like, I know how to play characters, and sometimes when I'm playing a character, I'm pushing the wrong button because I'm used to another character.
Yep.
I tried playing Destiny the other day. It was on when I was streaming the other night. In Overwatch, when you play on PS4, you hit down on the D-pad, and then you have, like, your menu to do your emotes and stuff. I went to wave, because sometimes we're just assholes, and you wave while you're playing. And I was trying to do that in Destiny, and I couldn't figure it out, because down on the D-pad in Destiny is to sit down. And I kept sitting down, and was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? It gets really frustrating when you're like so ingrained into something and you try to like shift over into something else that's similar but not similar enough. It was very frustrating.
Yeah.
This is why I play like MLB 2015 and Sims, and I don't have to worry about that.
Rise of Iron comes out soon. I'm super excited.
That was me who said that, though, Tor. Yeah, I can introduce myself to a guy with coffee stained cards who can teach me how to play. It's hilarious.
Oh, gosh.
All right, how are we on time now?
It's about 5.
Well, we're still a little. We're like 10. Oh well, let's do recommendations. Maybe
Okay.
that'll.
I can't start because I did not think of anything.
I have one.
Okay.
This goes. I always like to put something related to sexual health into mine. Right. That's my pattern.
Use lube.
I'm not gonna say lube this time. And I'm gonna apologize in advance. This person uses a lot of street slang, but I think that you can all handle it. There's an article that I'm going to recommend. It is called How to Eat Pussy, a Magical Guide for Evolved People.
Evolved people.
It's on a website called mytinysecrets.com. I'm going to tell you the title again. How to Eat Pussy, a Magical Guide for Evolved People. You should look at, if you are a person who has sex with women, or if you are a woman who has a pussy, you should read it and then have fun. That's my recommendation. That's my recommendation for today. Anybody else?
I guess my recommendation is Yaya Han. That's costume related, but she came out with a new pattern for Pokemon Go. So if you want to make your own Pokemon Go costume, there's a pattern for
That's
it.
amazing.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yep,
It's
and they
pretty
have it for
awesome.
men too. So there's also the male's version.
Yeah, but the female one looks better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
does.
female one looks better.
In general.
The standard character design, females look better unless it's just like, you know, boob armor.
Did you see that Nadine got her own Pokemon
I
account?
did.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We went down to she always wants to play and she always wants to play mine and then she throws the balls, sideways at my, CP 1200 whatever and then I get mad. So I created her own. We went just one long walk on the east side where there's like 5 Pokestops per block or whatever and she made it all the way to level 5 and Brian and I both she caught her first drowsy and she was on the street. It was like 9:00 at night on Friday night. She's on the street downtown Milwaukee and she's just jumping up and down like, I caught it all by myself, and Brian and I are crying, we're so proud. We're like, oh my god, this is the greatest parenting moment of our lives. And she made it all the way to level 5 and then she chose Team Red to be like daddy, which made me cry for 2 very different reasons at the same time. So that was exciting.
Aw. I thought of something. I recommend the Taste of Madison on Labor Day weekend.
Fun.
Yes, it's food all the way around the square. It's all under $5 per thing. I do not, however, if they have them again next year, don't get the cookie dough bites. Don't do it.
Are they
I don't
terrible?
remember who it was by, but they were absolutely horrific. They were the worst thing I had the
they
whole
sound
day
kind
there.
of bad. Was it like deep fried cookie dough?
No, it was dough.
Cookie dough tends to be hit or
No,
miss.
it was shit cookie dough.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. They used to have, Bluefies used to be there, and they had a cookie dough egg roll.
They closed.
That was delicious.
That sounds delicious.
It was delicious. And this was such a disappointment.
Is there chocolate chips in it? Because then I'm just immediately turned off.
Well, in the egg roll there were.
Yeah.
In
that's
this
gross.
thing, I can't even freaking tell you because it was just so bad. It was just a hunk of flour with some stuff in it.
Gross.
That's what I got out of it. So just don't do it, guys. Yeah, Leia's lunchbox. Yes, they were deep fried flour. Yep.
That's gross.
Yeah. So
And something similar like that. Someone made Russian tea cakes and brought them into work, and they were no bueno. They were weird and hard and just covered in powdered sugar, and all you could really taste was powdered sugar and nut. Not like nuts, but nuts. It was gross.
yeah. Well, what did I have that was the best there, honey? What did I have that was really good? I don't remember.
It's probably a 2-minute lag.
Um.
You fill in silence. For
I'll
2
fill
minutes.
in
Let's just sit quietly.
Well,
and wait.
okay, so apart from food at Taste of Madison, they always have bands, live bands, and JJO always has a stand, and then I think 98 has a stand, and
The other ones
the
don't
country
even matter.
station has one, but none of those matter. Yeah, no. Johnny always loves empanadas. I don't fucking care about empanadas.
This was so good.
And so at 7 o'clock they had Non-Point. We watched a little bit of that. I love their stuff on the radio. But they weren't doing it for me live, which made me really sad because we waited all fucking day for that.
Non-point
All
sake.
day. Also, yes, honey, lavender cheesecake.
Oh, that sounds really good.
That was really good. And then they also had frozen chocolate-covered cheesecake bites that were chai cheesecake. Those were also really
Chai
good.
cheesecake sounds really good without the chocolate.
It was really good.
Do you not like chocolate?
I do not like chocolate. Okay. Everyone gives me shit for this because they're like, Amanda, I just saw you eating some dark chocolate filled with caramel and sea salt the other day. And I'm like, there's a difference between dark chocolate and chocolate. I don't like chocolate cake. I don't really like brownies. I don't like milk chocolate. I don't like chocolate
But you
milk.
like dark chocolate?
I really
We're
like the
the
more
exact
bitter it
opposite.
is, the better it is. Especially when it's paired with like caramel or peanut butter or fruit or something like that. I don't like
Yeah.
chocolate.
You like red velvet?
Red velvet's gross too.
I love
Because
red
It's
just
basically chocolate. Yeah,
It's chocolate just dyed
it's red. It's gross.
Stupid.
So everybody who wants to buy me candies, don't buy me chocolate.
That
because
makes me really sad. You just really popped a giant bubble in my head about
red velvet.
red velvet.
Yeah. It's just chocolate. Just chocolate. Speaking of food that was really good, this is not my recommendation. Brian and I went out to dinner last night in like pre-celebration for my birthday. We went to Jose's in Baraboo. Everyone should go there because I had a burrito the size of a small child, and it's the best food in the world. I really like Mexican food. My recommendation is for anyone who has a PS4 and PS Plus. One of the free games of the month is Journey. Have you played it yet, Andy? Highly recommend it. It's very short. You can probably blow through it in a couple of hours, but it's beautiful and it's phenomenal and just. It's worth your time. It's free, and it doesn't take very long.
If you like scarves, that's what I hear. That's the game you want to play.
If you like scarves?
Yeah, if you like
You like
scarves.
scarves. Yeah.
Yes, if you like scarves, and if you like bawling your eyes out at the end of a 3-hour journey, yes, that's the game you want to play. No
The
spoilers.
camera is moving. Oh, it's
I
because
moved it.
Andy
It's
walked
Andy's
us.
there.
I readjusted it to actually encompass everybody
Oh.
with 5 minutes left in the podcast.
Who was missing for the whole episode?
No, it was just
Oh,
just
okay.
off kilter.
All right, cool.
Accepted it.
I think that's it.
I
Oh,
think
geez.
that's everything.
There's Andy.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any
Okay.
recommendations, Andy, since you're here?
No, I will save that for my podcast.
Okay.
Recommend Journey also. It's great. And the band.
Journey the band.
Recommend
Definitely
Journey.
recommend Journey the band.
Don't you dare.
I recommend.
Don't.
Oh, now
When
we
it
should do a
comes-
whole
when it
conversation
comes
about
to
music.
classic
I
rock,
was-
Journey is where it's at.
I'm more sticks.
You would
Nah,
be.
yeah, you would.
Come on, the jig is up, the news is up, they finally caught.
So is our next cast next Sunday or like the Sunday after?
Oh, yeah, I
Because,
think
like
we were
stuff
gonna
is
switch
changing.
this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't remember if we were switching this for next podcast or the one after. Jackie, who is missing, works every other Sunday, and it just happens to be the Sundays we've been podcasting.
We
for a
hadn't
short
really
while.
talked about it, but I think that it makes sense to do next weekend and then start back on the every other
in
rotation.
October.
As long as that works for everybody.
Yeah, we'll probably give a heads up out on the Facebook.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So
We'll let everybody know.
Yeah, but so you all are aware, it might change.
Yeah. I think that's all.
That is all.
bye.
For episode 5.
0.6.
Somebody recommends Jeremy's Rhett podcast.